Hey everybody, welcome to the Fit Rockstar Show. I am Isabelle Turell with the fabulous, awesome, ravishing, sensational Theresa Ivancik. Did I get it right?
Hi guys.
Hey.
Yes, you did.
Hey. How are you doing, Miss Beautiful?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I am very good. Extremely good. And you, Miss Beautiful Theresa, have set the internet on fire. Are you there? There we go. All right.
Yes, I am.
All right. I lost you there for a second. You are setting the internet on fire with the latest news of you making a transition from women's bodybuilding to physique. So, what drove you to make the change? I mean, you're a champion bodybuilder, beautiful, gorgeous physique, great conditioning. What made you make that change, Theresa?
So I've started bodybuilding in 2010, and I've competed up to this past year. And, you know, I've won the pro shows in the last 2 years, 2019 and then 2020. I got 6th and 7th in the world on 19 and 20. And then I made it to the Olympia. And when you get to the Olympia, it's like a whole new level. And, you know, I think, you know, you look at the amateurs, then you look at the national level, then you look at the pro level, and then you look at the Olympia level. Like, you don't realize Olympia is like a whole different, you know, level to me. So when I was looking at them and, you know, kind of evaluating myself, I got told by 4 judges that it's time to move down. I just don't think that I have like that amount of size and density that these top competitors, you know, at the top 5 have. I talked to Irene right before we walked out on stage at the Olympia, and I asked her what she weighs, and she weighed 187. Oh. And I actually stepped on stage at like 149. So there's a big difference in, I think, the muscle density that I would need to come out and place very well at the Olympia.
So this is just my 2 cents. You are known as and excuse me for the word, you are one of the hottest female bodybuilders in women's bodybuilding. I mean, that's,
Thank you.
Well, it's true. Everybody who knows you says, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. You know, you posing's always on point. Your conditioning is always great. You have great symmetry. You know, when I saw you in Norfolk, which, by the way, again, late congratulations to your engagement with Jeff, where you can pose. You were just sensational. I mean, you have this unique look to you. You're very marketable. You know, you're very personable. And in my opinion, I still feel you're a phenomenal bodybuilder. You know, sometimes, you know, you don't get your best and this and that, but I do still feel that you would still be in that top of the, you know, the heap of the top with bodybuilding. I mean, and again, listen, when you made the transition to women's physique, I'm not going to lie. These girls are now scared because they know what you can bring. I mean, you have all the tools. And I predict now that you will walk into physique show if you're competing this year. You will win, and you will be in the Olympia stage, and you will, again, be in that top 5. You know, you just have that champion physique. You just do.
Thank you.
And your back shot is very impressive. You know, if I was to say one of your best features, and maybe I'm wrong, your back. And that's a hard feature with some women. They don't really have that great density, and you have a lot of detail going on. So, you know, it's like lights out. So you should turn to the back. I mean, and the front. All your shots are great, but that back shot usually lights out. So I just wanted to throw that in there, you know, with the women's bodybuilding. I still feel, even though you didn't place the way you wanted to, you still have that wow factor to where you can be a big threat in women's bodybuilding. You know, I don't look at it as a size. I look at it more maybe conditioning. You know, that for me, you know.
I think like how you touched, it's like I'm kind of tossed in the middle, where, you know, I'm a little bit on the, you know, the larger side for women's physique, but then I'm on the smaller side of women's bodybuilding. So it's kind of like you can squeeze right down the middle and either pump it up or tone it down. You know, and there's a big difference on which way we want to go with that. So it's, you know, I think it's, you know, I was talking to, you know, many other people, and I have like one step literally on the ladder that I'm trying to complete a journey with, and that's to win the Olympia. And I'm trying to go where I feel that it would be the most attainable for myself without, pushing the limits, to try to make it as a bodybuilder. I'm a bodybuilder at heart. I've grown up that way. I was figure bodybuilding. That was it. And, I will always to this day support every single one of the Iron Sisters, that I've got to meet through the years. You yourself, Wings of Strength, I'll support them no matter what. They've become family to me. So it's just right at this point, I think I just need to try to find what I can do to make myself attainable to fulfill the rest of my destiny.
Oh, absolutely. You need to do what's best for you. And listen, I told you this last year. I do feel you can win a Miss Olympia for sure. That's to be honest, that's true. And one thing I've always admired about you is you're very strict with dieting. I mean, I gotta laugh because I was watching one of your videos, and I know in person because I've been around shows with you. Everything's always packed. You have everything portioned now for the entire week. You've got these big bags all pre-packed, and I'm just like, wow. Because that's what it's about, isn't it? When we're doing a show, prepping, whether you're bodybuilding, physique, figure, whatever, you need to be consistent. That diet is key. Now, I want to mention I want to ask you a question that actually one of your biggest fans had asked, Gary Udit. He wanted me to ask, when you started competing, did you think that your career would be this long?
I'm gonna tear up. This has been something I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. And the day that I opened up that Oxygen magazine and I knew I wanted to look like that, it just was a spark. It was such a strong spark in me. And, and this is teaching people coming up the ladder too. I tried figure. It wasn't a fit for me. I went into women's bodybuilding and, I went in with a dream and I went in, wanting to be a pro. And I mean, it took me 2010 till 2016 to earn that card. But I think along the journey is I gained a lot of discipline through the time. I've learned a lot about myself through the time, and I was able to carry that just into the general public, the people that I talk to, the people that I meet. I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would be where I'm at today with the amount of followers, the amount of support, just everything, and everything in a nutshell. I mean, I'm overwhelmed with it. And that's why I am destined to seriously show the world that I can, and I will be, a Miss Olympian one day.
Well, again, this is what makes you a phenomenal athlete, your mindset, your drive, your passion, and this is one of the things I respect for you. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, a client of yours once told you, don't let negative people rent space in your head. Is that right?
Yep.
So that is a very true comment because, as you know, in our field, it's all mindset. You have to have that positive frame of mind. It's like you also mentioned something about people in our industry, how they, you don't want to be Googling pictures and looking up the competition because it's pretty much you against yourself. Now, you are a very competitive athlete. I mean, when people see your name on the list for a show, they're saying, oh, crap, there's Theresa, she's really good. And of course they're looking at pictures and this and that, which I find that to be funny. It's flattering, but it's also funny. And again, what I admire about you is that you just do for you. You do whatever you need to do. You're not really on the social media. You're not really falling into that negative frame of mind, So a big kudos to you in that. Something that really made me very emotional is when you were mentioning your grandfather and your first bodybuilding show. You were, when was this? 2000, what was that?
2010.
2010. And so the song that he played for his routine was Bad to the Bone.
Yes, that's correct.
Which I think is freaking awesome. So he won first place, right? And what was the other inspirational award?
Yep. He did get both of those. And that was the first show I did the transition to bodybuilding. So I got to share the stage with him as both being a bodybuilder for the first time.
That made me cry. And you can share the stage with someone you love and admire and respect. Now, is this the same person who was deadlifting, 200 something pounds at 85 years old? 80?
Yeah, he was. He was doing that and inspiring the kids in the gym and just motivating everybody.
How old was he?
He made it to 91.
91.
And then we lost him.
How old was he when he competed with you?
83.
Wow, God bless him. Yeah, that really touched me very much because, again, that's something I always wanted to do with my family. I never got to, and when I saw that, I was like, wow, it's a fire that burns inside you. So everything you do, you think of him all the time. Right? Every show.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We're actually, I mean, I don't want to leak this out too much, but we're actually looking to expand the facility and the gym and purchase a building and have another one. And it would be in memory of Ken Harlan, which is Jeff's dad that we lost, and my pap. So
that'd be very sweet. Oh.
Yeah.
See, you are a sweetheart, my dear. That's why I admire about you. Now, let me ask you a question here. This is from a fan. They wanted to know what your diet is like, and then how do you eat right now? I mean, obviously, when you're transitioning over to physique, is your diet changed, or is it the same, or?
I out of the shows, I touched base on this before. I'm tired of going up sloppy. I was tired of jumping up, and I would go to 183 and I would just be a wreck. Like, I'd be so full of water, and just, it wasn't good for me. It made me very heavy. So this year I'm actually sitting 10 pounds up from my stage weight. So I'm literally at 160 right now. So I think what I did differently this time was I kept my protein portions down. I kept my carbohydrates down. And I took like a long time off. I had 6 weeks off from the gym. I didn't do anything. Wow. Might have did some cardio if I felt, like I needed to. But I gave my body a break, but I didn't over excessively eat. So literally what I'm eating now is pretty close to what I would have pre-contest. But it's like, instead of like oatmeal, I'm putting in wraps, or instead of rice, I'm putting in muffins, and then I'm
putting oatmeal in wraps?
Like wheat wraps, whole grain wraps.
Oatmeal in wheat wraps? Is that what you said?
No, like, instead of doing the oatmeal, I'll like just swap for something different.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute, oatmeal and wraps?
Yeah.
That's different. All right. So a couple of fans want to know, what is your heritage?
I'm German and Russian.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Used to know that.
I don't. That's all I know. That's it. What's the best compliment you ever received?
I think it's going back to your topic. How are you so pretty and have so much muscle to you? I get that a lot, especially from the older women. I get attacked at Walmart, and they wish they could have done it. So that was one thing. That's one of probably the most compliments I do get.
Mm-hmm. Now, now that you're done with bodybuilding, what does your life look like now? I mean, has it changed dramatically?
No, my routine's like, yep, training, eating, cardio, training clients, like nothing really changed. I think the only thing that would actually, I was told not to change anything coming down to women's physique. So nothing really actually changed any dramatically for me.
Well, Theresa, I got to say, I didn't know this, but you were pretty damn strong. So I see that you and Jeff, which, by the way, how is Jeff doing? Is he good?
He's doing great.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
thank you.
I like Jeff. He's awesome. 500-pound squat?
Yeah.
Jesus,
that was back in the day.
My God. My back started hurting watching that. That was powerful. You are strong.
Yeah.
And then you were doing rows of 130 pounds?
Yeah. Those were like...
What's the most you ever went up to? 150?
Probably.
Yeah.
I probably attempted that at some point in time.
I'm writing this down so that way I can get a good back like yours, the rose.
Okay.
That's the key, right?
Yep.
All right. So another fan wanted to know, and I can't. He's foreign. So describe the confidence that bodybuilding has provided to your lifestyle.
I think, like we said, like, going back, it's like, it's teaching you discipline. It's, you got to get in front of a lot of people on stage, and it's feeling confident about yourself. I mean, going back into even just something like this, you look back even at school and you're like, I was terrible at speech, but after you do so many different podcasts and then you talk to different people and you start to really know and sink into the knowledge that you have, like, you want to share it. So I think learning all that I've learned over the years, I just want everybody to like know everything they can about, the fitness industry and what you're capable of doing and being a motivator to everybody.
Okay, let me ask you this now. Oh, another fan wanted to know, what do you do for your calves?
I have played around with them because, as you know, like some people just don't have them. They don't want to grow. You try different things. You try to go extremely heavy. Some days, then you try to go for the high volume reps. I've done the one-leggeds, to try to make sure that I'm not using and comping for the other one. But I've tried a lot of different variations for those.
And what's your favorite photo shoot theme? You are the master of photo shoots. Like, you have some very creative photo shoots.
I just like to get creative, you know what I mean? And, shooting with wings, I've always had phenomenal photos. We pulled off a lot of crazy good ones for my calendar, which we're going to try to come out with another one of those. But I think it's just the different kind of costumes that you wear. I don't really have like anything specific, but I think that when you get into certain outfits, you become a different person. Whenever you do them, just like whenever you dress up like the Hulk. I mean, it makes you feel like a different person and you become somebody.
It does. I want to start smashing people when I become the Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I actually had to hire a bodyguard to protect me at the Arnold Classic 2 years ago.
No way.
Because people were just crowding me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pain in my tushies, but all right. What's the one thing you love about your fans?
Oh gosh, the support. I mean, they're there like every day, every minute, every show. Like, in Chicago Pro, when I won that, and my newsfeed just went, ballistic. And I'm very well known over in the UK. I promise you guys I will get there someday. I really do want to, branch off and get to meet some of the people that I don't have the opportunity to meet, but I love every single one of them. I couldn't do this without them.
Well, they love you too. We all love you, obviously. I mean, you are one of the most, in my opinion, again, successful female bodybuilders. Very, I keep on saying it, but it's true. I mean, you're very attractive. You just have a great, great look. And it's like Chicago last year. I mean, the way you're like a fashionista. You put your suit together, your hair, everything flows. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your routines are incredible. I mean, you can tell you bust your ass.
That was something that I wanted to change, for this year. You kind of stand up there and you go in circles, sometimes. Then you try to pick a song that goes, to the certain beats and stuff, and I worked with Jennifer Underwood this year, and she is the most amazing person, that I've ever worked with. She, I met her, we were able to do things, hands-on. She wanted to make sure that it was powerful. We changed some things going in from each show so we could have a phenomenal routine for the Olympia. And I'm really looking forward to working with her again this year for another jaw-dropping performance.
Now, Theresa, you have a lot of fans, you said in the UK and stuff, a lot of European fans. What is the weirdest thing you've ever had a fan say to you or request?
Well, I think most of them have, heard this before. You get like weird requests for like people to mail you their socks and underwear. Like, they'll pay you decent money. But yeah. I mean, that was probably one of the oddest things that I have gotten asked.
Just mail them some of Jeff's underwear or something,
Oh, yeah.
Socks. I'm sure they'll appreciate that,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some of these guys are nuts. They like want worn socks and worn underwear, or your.
Yep.
I have one guy wanting to buy my buttons from the shows. He wanted to collect the buttons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you gotta
I keep
love
all those.
Yeah, I do too. But these guys are just hilarious. Now, Tell me about, you said you have 15 to 20 clients right now. You're getting ready for this year at your gym.
Yep.
And Harlan's Gym, how long has that been in business? How long you guys been around?
We just hit 7 years this year.
Congratulations.
And we're running out of space.
Yeah, so I thought it was really interesting last year, during this whole pandemic thing, which I'm not really a fan of. You guys open up your gym. I mean, you just took the risk and you opened it up, and you had people traveling from all over coming to train at your gym.
Yep.
Huh?
That was an experience, and we've decided to stand up for ourselves, our business, the people, and we brought an influx of people from all over. Actually different states, came to join, different areas, different locations, and we did shut down. I will say we did shut down in the first 2 months because we were all uncertain, what the heck was going to go on, and then we opened up illegally, and we've been running ever since. And no change of hours. We had another 3-week shutdown. We didn't do it then either. And nobody bothered us. We have a phenomenal, community here. So I thank Butler County for allowing us to continue and supporting small business. And, we made it through. A lot of people unfortunately did not, but we did.
All right. So this is an off-topic question. If you was to have anyone play you in a movie, who would it be?
Oh my. I actually don't even know. I wouldn't have the slightest clue.
Come on, Teresa. Come on. Give me somebody.
I honestly don't know.
All right.
You give it to me. I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody incredible. Got to be somebody sensational. I don't know. That's a tough one to
I have to think about that one. I'll get back to you on that one.
If you was a superhero, who would you be? Let me ask you that.
Wonder Woman.
Okay. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally can see that. All right. Now, let me, do you have a celebrity crush by chance? I know Jeff's probably going to kill me for asking you that.
I don't know that I actually do. There's no one that I really, I don't watch movies really. I don't really,
When you got into the sport as figure, then going and you did women's physique, then bodybuilding, who was it that inspired you? Did you have someone that you looked up to, that you admired?
I knew of Linda Murray, and I followed her, and I really, really loved, the bring up of the female bodybuilding. But then right around when social media hit and the Facebook hit, Alina was the one that I was after. Like, I was just infatuated. I would look at all her videos and I felt like I fit most in with what she was doing, and then I followed her and, watched her career escalate, into the Olympian and with Iris. But she was the one that I would say that I pretty much leached to whenever I moved into female bodybuilding.
Yeah, I remember, this is how dedicated you are. So we were at I think it was the Puerto Rico Pro, or it was Hawaii. I think Puerto Rico. You were there, and you were so strict on your diet. I mean, you didn't even go out to eat with us, which I'm like,
No.
what? I was offended by that. I'm like, why? She's ignoring us. But no, I got it. I mean, you were totally strictly dieting. You had everything laid out, measured out. You were still training. I think, what'd you get in, 2 training sessions a day? I think you did your cardio and then your training.
Yep.
And that, to me, again, is the great mindset of a champion. I told you.
You don't want to miss anything, because I'm one of those people, and I'm sure you are too, when you're prepping stuff, it's the guilt, like, oh my God, I missed a meal, or oh my God, I missed a training, or oh my God, I missed the cardio. How am I going to make it up? So I think that's really where I think we become obsessive, is the guilt that we feel we didn't do 100% that day to get you what you want, as the end result.
Right. I mean, you want to go into that show knowing that you did everything you possibly could. So, in saying that, do you ever eat cheat meals? I mean, do you actually splurge on things, or are you strictly around, or?
Oh yeah, every day now. Like, I just talked with Femflex Friday. I mean, I do Wendy's every day. I do Frosties. I mean, but as I was explaining to her, like, it's macros then, and the macros are if you use them all in a day, like, and fulfill them, you can, space your meals out between 3 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals, and not do 6, but have heavier meals, at one setting, but don't eat 3 hours. Let that body and that food digest, and maybe eat 5 or 6 hours. So it's just spacing them all out. But I absolutely do, because if you are eating too clean and you go into a show, you're never going to make it. You can't diet on a diet.
No, you cannot. Absolutely. So, Theresa, what's on your playlist right now? Do you listen to music while you're training? Or are you one of those people that's like, don't listen to any music? Or
Yeah, I mean, I listen to like pop hits, anything that's like new. I really like the score. I like all that motivational stuff. Sam Tynez, Zayd Wolf, all those bands. They're the ones that really get you moving.
And your favorite body part to train? I'm gonna guess this one. Back.
Back or shoulders? That's tough.
Yeah, you got great shoulders. Yeah, you got great shoulders for sure. So if someone is trying to get into bodybuilding, women's physique, or whatever, what kind of advice would you give these people? What would you tell them?
I would tell them, I mean, the same thing that I noticed for myself. Take your time. Don't push, and don't get discouraged if you don't get the right placing that you want. And it's just enjoy the journey as you go. Learn as much as you can. Seek professional help. Get somebody to pose you. Get a coach. If you're really thinking about doing this seriously, make sure you get a nice, good, positive circle, going where you're going to do this in and out in the right way.
Very good advice, yeah, because I know a lot of people, that was one of our fan questions. He's a newbie wanting to get into this and wanted to have some advice. So I have another person who asked a question. They don't like water. Do they have to drink it?
I am a big fan of water, and some people, don't get me wrong, you do not need a gallon a day. It's just kind of like what goes with you, but you need to keep the muscles hydrated, because if you don't, you can actually hold water and become very water retentive, but the muscles need to stay hydrated. You can't be dehydrated, because that'll just hurt the kidney, the liver, and everything else. But water is a definite necessity.
Can you share with us your Olympia experience when you're up there on stage? Like when you walked out on that stage, what was going through your mind?
When I was, backstage getting pumped up, you have to realize where you're at, you know what I mean? Who you're around. You're with the best of the best, and you're standing in line and you're getting ready to walk out on that big stage that you've seen on TV, and all the people you've admired through your entire, career. And, I think when it hit me was, I walked out on stage, I started, doing my routine. It was when I turned around and I saw Olympia in front of my face. You just kind of lost it, because it's like, holy crap, I'm here and I'm doing this, and all these people are watching me. And it was the most amazing experience that I seriously ever experienced.
Yeah, it's incredible what they did in 4.5 weeks. Jake and Dan Solomon and the whole Olympia team. Putting that together in Orlando, which again is going to be back in my hometown, and I can't wait. Which we know for a fact we're going to see you on that Olympia stage this year, I'm sure.
I'm excited.
I'm betting $100 on that says that you will be up there, because I know you will. You're good. I am really curious to see what these girls are going to... you got them freaking out big time. Like I said, you're the hottest thing on the internet right now as far as, the big news. I'm very proud of you, Theresa. I appreciate what you stand for. You're an incredible female bodybuilder / physique athlete in general.
I'll say athlete. I'll say professional athlete.
You're an incredible IFBB Pro.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question in regards to the mindset. As you know, bodybuilding is very hard. With COVID, it's hit a lot of people. And do you feel, what do you think people can do? Because as you know, we're still going through a pandemic. What can they do to keep themselves motivated and engaged, in their training? Because it's hard. Some people still don't have access to a gym. What would you say to them?
I think what we're doing with, social media and keeping everybody inspired, I think literally through this whole COVID and the pandemic, we all in the fitness industry kind of fed off of each other, whether we had access to a gym or not, because we would see people and motivate and encourage. But I think that, just watching people not give up, on their dreams and their goals because of one little hip cup that we're, going through right now, I think was literally the best thing that could have happened, between everybody keeping in track with each other, watching videos, like I said, and keeping each other motivated.
Joe Weider's Olympia here in Orlando, Florida. A little bit strange coming out of Las Vegas for all of those years.
Good evening. And welcome to the event that nearly never happened.
There's been an absence of a particular group of people on this stage that are back tonight. Tonight I'm here to say, welcome back to Miss Olympia.
Let me ask you this with your suits. Who does your you have a suit sponsor, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So how do
I
you
work with Becca from BB Custom Suits, and she's out of Pittsburgh, and she's an amazing person.
how long do you take to make your suits? How long, like a few weeks, a couple months?
This one was different. No, I actually this is weird. So I got a bottle out from Bath and Body Works, and it was a fragrance spray. And it had a black background with this gold and rose and, silver colors in it, and exactly like the New Year's colors. So all I did was tell Becca what I wanted. I went over, we picked out the background of the suit, and I told her, here's the colors. And I said, you do what you want with it. And she just designed it. I had absolutely nothing to do with that suit.
Oh, yeah, that's a genius. I mean, like I said, the way you put it all together, the suits and then the hair and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Nico wanted to know if you can train him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can you train me
It's
too?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh. Now, you promote events, or you have just a team you put out for shows, or you guys have your own show?
Right now, we really want to have our own show. We're working on that. There's a lot of local ones right now that are currently in the area, so we're unable to do that. But, we did help with a posing seminar a couple weeks ago. So, we're really hoping to actually sponsor and be able to do a show here soon.
Are you guys pretty much open over there now, or is it still somewhat shut down? Or
they still have, restaurants are supposed to be 50% capacity, bars shut down at 10:30, closed at 11, that kind of thing.
yeah, the
Masks,
COVID
all
COVID
that.
hit you at 10:31 p.m., right?
Yep.
Is that how that works? Now, do you do online coaching
Yes, I do.
or courses? And if somebody wants to, participate in that, how do they do that?
They would get a hold of me or go on my website under TheresaIvancik.com or any of my social media platforms, the Ivancik _ IFBB Pro on Instagram, or through Facebook under Theresa Ivancik. And I just try to figure out what their goals are first, check my schedule, make sure I don't overflood myself with clients, because I'm big on, I don't want the quantity, I want the quality of the athletes. So I only make sure that I take a certain amount of few, and then there's a waiting list, and as soon as I get done with others, then, I'll bring them on, or I'll recommend where they can go, while they're waiting. But that's normally how I work.
Who is your most impressive athlete? Meaning, like, it could be fat loss, or just, maybe a journey that they went through, a difficult journey, maybe had cancer. Anybody who's really, that stands out? I know everybody's a great athlete and great client, but is there someone who really is a client of yours that just really stands out, that has worked very hard?
I think the one girl that, I've watched her change so much, she was in the 200s at one point, and we got her down to 155. And it was Chris Bellis, which is Chris Pierce, because she actually got engaged at a show too. Her very first physique show, he proposed to her in the audience. But I think, watching her change and showing people that you really, when you lose all that weight, like some don't have excess skin folds, and they can tighten it up if you do it right and don't do it fast. And you take your time and you build the muscle, let the skin come back and build the muscle, and tighten it back up. But she's probably one of my most impressive athletes, dropping and changing and hitting that switch like she did.
Well, congratulations to her. Now, Theresa, with physique this year, what is the package we could be expecting to see?
Very conditioned, very balanced, symmetrical, just everything. The complete total package is where I'm going.
Who's your coach right now?
That's in a toss up right now. So
Okay,
it's like secret
gotcha.
to
Yeah.
if I stay or I go.
Right. You got to do what's best for you.
Yeah.
I'm being a nosy Rosie. Forgive me.
Yeah. You'll find
It
out.
does, I'll find out. Do you have a show picked yet, though?
I'm really aiming for Chicago Pro. I won it last year in bodybuilding, so I really want to kind of come in for physique and do it there.
I think you would make history if you end up doing that.
Yep.
Wouldn't that be crazy? Wow.
Yep. We're going to go for it.
So this is official then?
That's the one I have planned. Backup is Tampa. So those are
Now,
the two.
I don't know. Is Chicago going to be in Chicago this year, or they have it somewhere else? I don't really.
I'm not sure because I have a couple that say TBA on them, and then there's a couple that actually have the date. So
Right.
I'm not 100% sure yet.
Well, I'm going to make a shout out to Tim and say Tampa. Put it back
Yeah.
in Florida.
Yeah.
It seems Florida's the only place where all these shows are happening, you know?
Yeah.
Right? The show must go on.
It does.
Right?
It has to.
It absolutely has to. Are you happy with where the sport of bodybuilding is going, or would you like to see some changes in it?
I think that's a topic that we talked about before with bodybuilding. You know, thank God for Jake Woods because, he got, everybody, every division, has a stage to stand on. I think a lot of the times we had the same topic where, with the bodybuilding, you have the heavyweights, but you also have a 212 class. Where we have an influx of very phenomenal bigger girls, in women's bodybuilding. But I also feel that there's another bracket and a high demand for girls that cannot get to that size, just to make it attainable. And somebody wanting to start out and be a female bodybuilder has to see what they have to go against. I feel that might deter some girls to sticking with it and not dropping down to another class.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of the same thing we would do for 212, have another section of division for these other girls, to compete and be called a female bodybuilder.
Yeah, I have thought the same thing. I thought they should bring another weight class, actually, to women's bodybuilding to give the smaller girls, I'm not going to say smaller, but you know what I mean. I mean, listen, when I compete, I'm around 155, 150. I'm not 189 pounds. There's just...
Yeah.
Those girls, Irene could eat me for breakfast, okay? And I can say that because Irene's a pretty awesome girl. But, you ever had anybody backstage just kind of, and I'm just asking because you are intimidating to a lot of girls. You ever had anyone who was, not so nice? You just kind of like, well, you're very nice and social backstage, but there's always going to be one that's kind of like, and I'm not asking names. I'm just asking things that happen, to you. I was just curious.
I can't say anything. Every experience I've had backstage has been fun, amazing, because you can't, even if there would have been any friction, that would destroy your physique on stage. So I stay away from that. I mean, I wish you would have been back there whenever we were going out for Olympia. I mean, we were like laughing and carrying on the whole line.
Well,
Margie was singing a song.
Speaking
for
of
every
Margie,
number.
I got to ask this question. So on your Instagram, you have a picture of you and Margie, and I don't know what the heck is going on there, but it looks like you're pulling some band or something. Margie's pulling on it. You're pulling on it. Do you know what picture I'm talking about?
Yep, I know exactly where you
what
are.
was going on in this picture?
We were just having fun. Like I said, she was making up a song. She was like saying the person's name, the number, and then like having a rhyme to go with it. And she just kept going down the line with everybody.
Do you remember what she was saying? Can you give me an example of a rhyme?
I can't. I honestly can't
Does she
remember.
have one for you?
Yeah, but I can't even remember. Like we were all just laughing so hard. It was hilarious. I wish somebody would have filmed it.
Well, Margie, man, she's always funny. You never know what Margie's going to say. Ever.
That is true.
All right, Theresa, for our last segment here, I want to ask, deep thoughts of you that you want to give to your fans, something inspirational, something that you want to leave them with, because, again, you're a very inspiring person. I have a lot of respect for you. I always have. It's hard in the sport of bodybuilding and the sport in general. It's very hard for some athletes. Sometimes we feel down, go through a little bit of depression. I know, you said a long time ago that you had bulimia. You went through a little battle with that, and, we're all not perfect. Everyone has a story. So is there anything encouraging you want to say to them before we sign off?
I'd say surround yourself with positive people. You got to get rid of the negative people. And I will say this, because I've experienced, if there's sometimes you got to step away from family members, relatives, best friends. This is your chance. This is your life. You can't take anything back. Don't miss the times. You can rekindle, you can get back there, but you got to stay focused, because again, my thing is on the back of my Jeep, it says one life, live it, because again, you get these opportunities and they do not last forever. So don't miss anything, follow the journey. Don't get sidetracked, because it can be very easy. Surround yourself with the positive people, follow people that inspire you, and you'll make it. You really will.
Now, you were also a judge at one point, right? Or you have done judging?
I have not. I want to, but I actually have not got a chance to do that yet.
To my fans out there, to your fans out there, to anyone watching this, I just want to say that Theresa is a very good person to go to as far as critiques, and you give an honest opinion about stuff, and I think you're phenomenal in inspiring others and helping them out in their journey. So thank you, Theresa, very much for giving us the time here on the Fit Rockstar
Absolutely.
Show. I appreciate you, girl. I want to see you kick ass. I want to see you go into Chicago Pro, wipe the floor clean, show these girls what you're made of, win that show, which you will.
Yes.
$100 says that you will on me.
Yep.
And then go into the Olympia and win big. I know you can do this. We all believe in you. We all love you. Thank you, Theresa. Much love to you. Say hi to Jeff for me. By the way, how's his Harley doing? How's that car of his doing? That fast car? I don't know what is that. Oh,
he's getting work done to it.
Oh God, man, he's got a whole bunch of toys, man. Tell you what. But anyway, tell him I said hello. Thank you again, Theresa. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, hon. Signing off. Fit Rockstar out.